So the first girl group is 𝐓𝐚𝐠𝐬.
Itsy.
𝐓𝐚𝐠𝐬.
I have two.
I do too. So my first bias is Chaeryeong.
My first bias is Rujin.
My next one is Yuna.
My next one is Leah.
The Uz.
Us.
All right, so at first I did not have an issy bias at all. I just kind of coincidentally, mistakenly, I mean, it wasn't a coincidence. I mistakenly learned their names just because I
It
really
happens to
liked
me.
their songs, but I had no plan on standing them. But somehow I just learned them. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of
then,
what happened to me in Blue Jeans.
mm, but then I think it was either Not Shy or Guess Who era that I decided that Chaeryeong was my bias. And then Yuna came along during Cheshire era. Or no, I think it was Checkmate actually. I think
Hmm.
Checkmate I first started watching her more, and then Cheshire I was like, this my girl.
This my girl.
So then I added her to the
Um,
bias line.
I actually don't remember. I don't even think I had an Itsy bias at first either. I did like Yeji at first though. I don't know. There's just some she has this charisma that's just like oozing off of her. That is just hard not to pay attention to.
Mm.
So I thought that she might be my bias, but then as I got to know them, I was like, I really like Ryujin. I like her rapping. She could sing too. Her dancing's really good, and she's super funny. She's the whole package. So I just made her my bias, and then along the way, I was like looking or not looking. I was watching some content from them. I was just watching interviews and reality shows and stuff, and I was like, I kind of like Leah's cute, and I just biased her, and I was just yeah, you're my bias now because I like you.
All right. Next we have Idol.
I have two.
I do too.
My first one is Soyeon.
My first is 𝐓𝐚𝐠𝐬.
My second one is Minnie.
My second is Shuha. Do you want a story time on this one, or do you want to skip the story time?
I don't know if there's much as of I don't know if there's much of a storyline. I knew Soyeon already before I knew everybody else. And I already liked her. I liked her rapping. I just liked her style, her everything about her. And then I got to know them and I just decided to add Minnie because I liked her singing and her dancing and she had a charisma. I like the charisma. I don't know what it is.
I do
Made
know
sense.
that when they first debuted, I did not have a bias. But then a bit later on, I chose Sujin as my bias. And then somehow I added on 𝐓𝐚𝐠𝐬 and Shuha. All right. Next we have Stacy.
Stacy.
All right.
I
Stacy.
have two.
I do too.
My first one is Issa.
My first one is Yoon.
My second one is Sumin.
Mine is Jay. I'll tell a story time on this one because it's short. So
Okay, you can go first then.
their first debut was so bad. I really liked the song, and for some reason, the only two members that I learned at that time were Yoon and Jay. And it stayed that way for quite a while. I'm not
Hmm.
exactly sure when I actually somehow learned all of them,
Maybe
but
from all the K-pop games we've been playing.
I guess that must have been it. But then I learned them, and I'm not like super into Stacy, so this is just based off of my first feelings with them and them just being the first two that I learned. So I feel like it's destiny. So that's
Yes,
how they're my biases.
as it should be.
Yes.
My story time is I wasn't there when Stacey debuted. I I was listening to their music though, and I wanted to stan them. And so, as one does when they want to stan some group, they go and watch a bunch of reality stuff with them. So that's what I did. And Lisa's just the one that stood out to me, and she was my bias, my only bias for a really long time. And then I added Sumin on just because I started watching her, and I was just like, I kind of like you. She had a vibe. And I was like, I like your vibe. So it just became Issa and Sumin.
Fourth group, Aspa.
Two.
Me as well.
My first one is Karina.
My first one is Winter.
My second one is Winter.
My second is Ning Ning.
Not really sure I have a story time about. They just kind of became my biases.
Yeah, same.
I knew Winter, and I thought she was cute, so I was like, you're probably gonna be my bias. And then somehow Karina just slid in. She's like, hey, I'm your bias now. And I was like, okay.
Alright, the last group on the list is Blackpink. I only have one bias.
I have two.
My bias is Jisoo.
Mine is Jennie and Rose.
Um, I don't really know how Jisoo came to be my bias. It just kind of happened one day.
I honestly don't really. I know how Rose became my bias. It was when they had the shutdown comeback.
Born Pink.
Yeah. She just looked really good, and I was like, yep. But Jennie has always been, since I've gotten into them, she's just been the one that I watched the most, and I liked her voice, and I don't know, it just kind of happened that way.
As it should. Alright,
Yes.
those are all the groups that we have today. So this is a different type of video. Obviously not a reaction, but
Yeah, but there's not always going to be reactions on this channel. That's just what we named it.
yeah. But this was fun.
This was fun.
Hope
We
you
need to do
guys,
more. That was our biases in 10 different groups. We'll probably be doing more talking videos and reactions. So stay tuned for more.
yes, thank
We
you
will
all
see you
for
next time.
watching.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Peace.